Hello everyone, welcome to the official channel of Ada 24/7 Northeast and welcome to the session of Meghalaya LDA exam. So today again we are starting with computer few questions which will be important for your upcoming exam. So as you all know, you have I think around 50 marks for your computer and you will be getting around 25 questions for your computer exam. So I am trying to bring a session approx 5 to 10 classes where you will be getting many of the classes of computer as well as upcoming GK sessions also. So let's start with the session. So before starting, I am saying everyone to download our Ada 24/7 app for free PDF, for free one-liner, for free CA for all your upcoming exams. And also if you want previous year question paper, you will be also getting our Ada 24/7 app itself. So let's start with our question. So the first question of today's session is, which of the following is an example of system software? So as we know, computer system contains of hardware and software. So whenever we say about hardware component, like the thing I am using now, it is known as stylus. So it is a hardware component. Why? Because hardware are those things that we can touch, that we can feel or we can use, while in the other hand when we say about software are those that are incorporated in between the computer itself and we neither can see nor can touch the software component. So among this, which one of this is an example of the software system? Excel, Windows 10, Google Chrome or Adobe Reader. So remember, I am asking about system software, not hardware. Hardware example, software example have been also asked in your exam. So also go through the examples of both hardware and software. So whenever we say about system software, the example of system software among this is Windows 10. And also one more thing which is asked frequently in your exam, like presently which of the version of Windows we are using now. So right now we are using Windows 11 version, means version 11 of the Windows operating system. So do remember, whenever we say about operating system, questions are also been asked about operating system as well. So apart from this, we all know about Windows. Apart from that, Mac OS, Mac also has, means Apple also itself has an operating system. So Mac, then also Unix, Linux, this all are operating system. So this all are example of OS. And also you just go to the year, means on which year this were been first started. Okay, as you all know, Windows was been first started by the year 1985. Apart from that, Mac OS, Unix and Linux, when it was first started, just go to the year, as means the years are also frequently asked in your exams. So apart from that, next question, which storage device has the largest capacity? So whenever we say about storage device, we usually store our information or our any application that we have done in the computer system. So whenever we say about the largest storage device, where I can store the highest, in a DVD is of no use now, so this will be not the answer, never will be the answer. So USB, SSD or hard disk drive. So USB is the pen drive that we usually use to transfer system or content from one computer to other computer. And also this the things that are written here all are permanent storage device. So whenever we say about storage, there are two types of storage, as I have already mentioned in the last class. One is primary storage, one is secondary storage. So this all are also known as secondary storage, as the data here are saved permanently. So data here are saved permanently. So this is the reason why we say these are also known as secondary device or also known as non-volatile device, right? Okay, so now the answer when we say about the largest capacity, that is none other than hard disk drive. So minimum space for a hard disk drive includes 500 GB and we can expand that up to 8 TB. So depends on my wish how much storage I wish to keep. So maximum 8 TB or even 16 TB also some people may use. So these are the most common storage device whenever we say about high storage device of a computer. So it is the hard disk drive. So sometimes the question also asks about SSD. So can you name what is the full form of SSD? You can drop in the comment section what is the full form of SSD. Next question. What is the main function of an operating system? As I have said in the first question itself, operating system, which is one of the most important thing of the computer. So whenever we say about a operating system, so what is the function of an operating system? To perform calculation, manage hardware and software resources, browse the internet or to create documents. So operating system, like for example Windows. What can I do with the Windows? I'll go for calculations, I'll go for hardware and software resources, I'll go for browsing the internet or document creation. So operating system, so the most important thing here is to manage hardware and software device. Sometimes this question is also asked a bit means tricky. So sometimes it is also asked what is the main function of BIOS. So what do you mean by BIOS, or what is the full form of BIOS? So BIOS, it is also known as basic input output system. And whenever we say about BIOS, it is the most important part of the operating system. So do remember this is the full form and it is important for the operating system. Next, what is the purpose of firewall in a computer network? So when I say about firewall, so in a computer network, sometimes we use this word firewall. So what is the full form of firewall? Or sorry, not full form, what is the purpose of firewall? To speed up the internet, to protect against unauthorized access, to manage network traffic, or to boost Wi-Fi signal. So whenever we say about firewall, what may be the purpose of the firewall? When we use firewall, I think everyone is aware of the word firewall. We usually use when we say about any access which is been not authorized, or against it is the security purposes. So the answer will be number B, to protect against unauthorized access, so that no one from the other sources apart the one which are genuine cannot access our computer directly. So it controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. There are some fixed security rules for the different company, for the different tech giants. So to protect against them, specifically the firewalls are being used. Answer is number B. Next, what is the full form of HTTP? So when we use this term, it is been used when we talk about internet, when we talk about browsing, right? So when we say about HTTP, what is the full form? Hypertext Transmission Protocol, Transfer Protocol, Hyper Transfer Text Protocol, Hyper Transmission Transfer Protocol. So this has been frequently used, or this question frequently come when we say about HTTP. The full form is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So it is used for transmitting web pages over the internet. So if the definition is been asked, do remember this is the definition of HTTP. Next, which of the following is an example of an input device? So again, devices question has been came. Devices question is also one common question in all the exams. Devices, there are two type of devices. One, devices are input, the other is output. Like for example, this is an input device, the thing I am using here, stylus. So this is an input device. The board you are seeing, this is an output device. CPU, everything that are there in a computer, either they are input or output device. Some devices are also there, like for example I am using my phone. Okay, so in the phone I can write also and we can see also. So this screen or the Android screen acts both as input and output device. This is an example of both input and output, while one DSLR camera is also example of both input and output device. So among this input device, which is the example input device? Printer, monitor, mouse, or speaker? Speaker is an output device, we can hear, right? So we are getting the output. Printer, we are taking the print out. So this is also an example of output device. So answer it will be B or C. Monitor, we are seeing, like this is a monitor. So this is again an output device. So whenever we say about input, only mouse is the input device among all this. So this is a very good example of both input and both. So this is the example of both input and output device. Input device include keyboard, optical pen, joystick, scanner, barcode reader. This is also input, stylus. While digital camera, pen drive, touchscreen, CD, DVD, webcam, fax, modem. These are example of both input and output device. While these are the output device. For example, headphone, headset, printer, screen, plotter, speaker. These all are output device. In exam, both have been asked, sometime input, sometime output, and also this as well. Do remember, if this are question been asked from here, then the answer will be both input and output device. Next question, number 7, which are the following is a search engine. We can charge anything here. In which of the thing we can charge? Firefox, Bing, Outlook, or Skype? Some of these are some tools that we usually use for our professional work, while one is among this is a search engine. I think everyone is aware of the option Firefox. So this is the Firefox logo, while this is a type of search engine. These are the example: Google, Yahoo, Ask.com, Yandel. This all are example of search engine. Okay. Next. Which of the following is a programming language? So whenever we say about programming language, which is the example of a programming language? Chrome, Python, Windows or Photoshop? It is direct. Whenever we say about programming language, either it will be Java, then Ruby, or else it is Python. So these all are example of programming language. So to go for the example, apart from Python, which is the answer, Python, JavaScript, SQL, Java, PHP, Rust, Golang, TypeScript, C, C++, these all are example of programming language. Maximum the question have been asked either from Ruby, Python, SQL or Java. PHP is also frequently used whenever we say about Android function. The most common language that is been used for running Android function is PHP. Do you remember PHP or Java? Again, shortcut key, whenever we say about a key. So whenever we say about functional key, there are a total of 12 functional key that are being used in the computer, and all 12 are important for small functions that we usually type when it is required for any shortcut or anything which is very convenient or fast. So and at the time we usually use the shortcut key or the functional keys. So here I am saying about refresh. I think when we say about refresh, that is none other than F5 for refresh, while the other buttons just go to once. At least you have to remember one word of the functional keys. F1 we usually use for help screen in any program we use. F2 to rename or select a file or folder. F3 we usually use for charge on in an application which is already active. F4 to focus to the address bar, we usually use all plus F4. F5 either for refresh or reload the page. F6 to toggle between various program we use. So for toggle we use F6. For F7 frequently question come for F7. F7 we usually use for grammar check, spell check we use F7. F8 to access the boot menu. When turning on the computer we usually use the F8. F9 again for refreshing a document we use Control plus F9 to compile and run code as well. F10 to activate the menu bar of an application. Shift plus F10 is usually used on the right click. F11 enter and exit full screen mode whenever we are using internet or any other key. So either to minimize or maximize you use F11. F12 to open the save as dialog box in a Microsoft Word. So these are the various key wherever we use them. So these are very convenient for us. Okay. Next, what does LAN stand for? In the last class, I have said about network connection. So whenever we say about LAN, what is the answer? I have already said, I guess. Okay, so it is local access network, large area network, local area, या फिर long area network. So whenever we say about LAN, it is a minimum range network. We usually use LAN connection whenever we are using network connection in a big building of 10 to 6 floors, or else in a range which is around 1 to 10 kilometer range. So LAN stands for local area network. So these are the ranges. Smallest is the PAN connection. The area of this is around 1 kilometer. Apart this, next is LAN, local area network, around 1 meter or else 10 kilometer the range. This is MAN connection. So the range between MAN is around 10 kilometer to connect cities connection or network connection in a university campus. This is the largest, which is also known as WAN connection. Wide area network. Next question is, what does FTP stand for? What is the full form of FTP? In computer exam, usually short form, shortcut key, or the short form abbreviations usually come in your exam. So what is the answer of FTP? Yes, so whenever we say about FTP, the full form of FTP is File Transfer Protocol, and sometimes definition is also been asked of FTP. Next, which of the following is an open source operating system? Whenever we say about open source as operating system, so what may be the answer? Windows, Mac OS, Linux or iOS? Yes. So whenever we say about open source operating system, the answer is Linux. Okay. I think once in your one of your railway exam, one question was been asked about Linux. When it was first made or form, and who made first, and also who made. So do remember this also. Next, which of the following is not a peripheral device? So first of all, peripheral device, what do you mean by peripheral device? And also examples, maximum times this have been you asked in the LDA exam. So whenever we say about peripheral device, these are the peripheral device, means computer does not means require this device directly. If this device are not connected to the computer, still the computer will be working. But if a CPU is not there, or if a mouse is not there, then what will happen? The computer will be not able to work, right? So the question is not a peripheral device. So among this, I think you all have seen the example here. These are also known as peripheral device, as non-essential device. While whenever we say about motherboard, that is an essential device. So answer is motherboard. It is not a peripheral device. Baki sub everything like mouse, keyboard, printer, this all are example of peripheral device. So these are mentioned here also. Okay. Next, what is the main purpose of cache memory? So cache memory, it is important. Maximum time cache memory definition are been asked. So whenever we say about cache memory, it is a high speed memory that computer usually use to speed data access from the main memory. Next, which key combination is used to force quite an application in Windows? Now think of a situation you want to force quite an application because it has been stopped or it has been crashed. So what will be the answer to force stop an application? Control Alt Delete, Control Shift Escape, Control plus F4, or Alt plus L4. What will be the answer? To force stop, we usually use Alt plus F4. Whenever I press, or I will be pressing Alt plus F4, there will be a menu that will be usually asking us to quiet an application. If I use barely like Alt plus F4, then what will happen? A menu will be popping out where I can switch off my computer or restart my computer. So usually we use there. Next, what is the full form of SMPS? Once a question was been asked, what is the difference between SMPS and UPS? So that is also one important question. This is also one important question whenever the full form is been asked. So the full form of SMPS is switch mode power supply, and this is the difference of SMPS and the linear mode, which is the UPS. So whenever we say about UPS, that is one switch mode of supply, means the computer uses temporarily. Wherever we say about SMPS, this is a efficient mode which is been used by the computer altogether when it is required to function. Okay. Next, which of the following is used for closing a tab on a browser? Now again I want to close a browser. I want to use a shortcut key to close the browser. So what will be the answer? Control plus T, Control plus W, Control plus A, or Control plus Y? So for closing a tab or closing a browser, we usually use Control along with the key W. Okay, so we usually use this almost in all the web browser. Think Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Edge, everywhere we can use this shortcut key to close a tab or browser. Next, ENIAC and UNIVAC are example of which generation of computer? Sometimes the full form have also been asked of ENIAC and UNIVAC. These were the earliest of the computers. So earliest means this were the first generation of computer. Okay. So ENIAC and UNIVAC, the full form of ENIAC is electronic numerical digital and computer, while UNIVAC, it is also known as universal automated computer. These have been used in a first generation of computer. First generation means in the early 1950s, these were being used as the first electronic computer. Next question, how many MB is equal to 1 GB? So whenever we say about this calculation of MB or GB or TB, maximum question have been asked in such a way that makes us puzzle, right? So yes, whenever we say about 1 GB, around approx 1000 MB we use for making 1 GB, right? It is 1024 MB. 1 GB is this much, while 1 MB is 1024 KB. So smallest one is also known as bit, while 4 bit make a nibble. In the last class, I have also mentioned about this. While 8 bit make 1 byte, 1024 byte makes 1 KB, and the list goes down like this. So do remember these calculations. Next, which of the following device enable data transfer between two different network? This is a definition of network. Whenever we say about enabling data transfer from one network to another, what is the name? Plotter, joystick, gateway, or path? So yes, whenever we say about data transfer enabling, so the answer is gateway. So the definition is, it is also known as a critical network node or device which serves as an entry or exit point whenever we say about data transferring. Do remember the definition as well. So this was all for today. This is the homework question. Do give the answer in the comment section. And also about batch, I am showing you directly in our Ada 24/7 app. Do not forget to download our app. Here you can also go to your batch, which is available in our app, and details about this, everything is mentioned here. And to ask about anything or any query, you can call us in this calling number. I am saying once again 081300 43247. Thank you everyone, and prepare well for your exams.